Ethan, please don't do this. This is the only home I have. I shouted, standing in the hallway with shaking hands. My brother didn't even blink. Claire, stop acting like a victim. This house isn't just yours, he said coldly. It's half mine. And I'm selling my half. If you can't afford to buy it, you'll have to leave. My heart dropped. Leave? I whispered. Where will I go? Mom and Dad left this place for both of us. This is the only thing I have left. But he stepped closer, lowered his voice, and said the line that broke me. It's just a house, Claire. And honestly, you should have expected this. I have a wife now. A life. I can't keep holding on to your nostalgia. Before I could speak, he added. The papers are already signed. And just like that, my own brother made me homeless. My name is Claire Anderson, and when our parents passed away, everything in my life changed. Ethan was only 14, still a kid. I was 22, barely an adult myself. But I took him in my arms at the funeral and promised. I'll take care of you, no matter what. I meant every word. For the next 8 years, I became more of a mother than a sister. I worked double jobs. Paid his school fees. Woke him up for exams. Cried when he graduated. I pushed him so he could have the life I never got. I even paid for his college when I could barely afford to feed myself. He would hug me and say, Claire, one day I'll make you proud. I didn't know. One day he would destroy me instead. When Ethan met Lena, everything changed. She was smart, confident, beautiful. But there was something cold about her. She didn't like our old home. Didn't like the photos on the walls. Didn't like the stories of our parents. One day she whispered to Ethan, thinking I couldn't hear. Your sister is too emotional. She's holding you back. That was the first crack. When Ethan and Lena decided to marry, they didn't have money. So I did what I always did. I stepped in. I paid for the wedding. I decorated the hall. I cried seeing my little brother in a suit. He hugged me and said, Claire, thank you for everything. I won't forget this. But he did. He forgot everything. After the wedding, they moved to another city for better opportunities. They stopped visiting. Stopped calling. Stopped caring. Months went by. The house, our parents' house, became my only companion. My only memory. My only home. What I didn't know was this. Ethan and Lena were planning something behind my back. Lena pushed it first. Ethan, sell that old house. We need money. And your sister? She'll figure it out. Ethan resisted at first. A little. But greed always wins when love is weak. One morning, a strange man knocked on my door. Ma'am, I'm here to inspect the property we purchased. I froze. Purchased, what property? He looked confused. This one. I felt the floor disappear beneath me. I grabbed the papers from him. And there it was. Ethan's signature. Signed. Stamped. Approved. He sold everything without telling me. This is where the intro scene happens. Me begging. Ethan cold. Lena watching from the doorway with folded arms. Me saying I will become homeless. Ethan saying it's just a house. And the final slap. The papers are already signed. When they left, I collapsed on the living room floor. Everything in that house. Every memory, every photograph, every tear. Felt like it was being ripped out of my chest. I wasn't crying because of the house. I was crying because my own brother chose money over me. I didn't know then that my life was about to change completely. My Uncle Henry, my dad's elder brother, came to visit a week later. He found me packing boxes alone, trembling. And when he heard what Ethan did, he didn't say anything for a full minute. Then he said the words that saved my life. "Come with me, Claire. You're not going to be homeless. From this day, you're my daughter." And everything changed. Uncle Henry lived alone in a quiet suburb in Oregon, in a warm two-story house that smelled like old books and safety. When I walked in with my suitcase, he said softly, "Claire, this is your home now. No conditions. No limits." I nodded, but my chest was still heavy. A home can change. But the wound of betrayal stays inside your bones. Uncle Henry wasn't just my dad's brother. He was the man who used to read me bedtime stories when I was 5. The man who taught Ethan how to ride a bike. He placed a hand on my shoulder. "Your father trusted you, Claire. Ethan forgot who raised him. But I won't forget who you are." For the first time in days, I felt safe. 2 days later, Uncle Henry invited me to his study. He opened a drawer and placed a thick folder in front of me. "Claire, I want you to read this." Inside were legal documents. A will. His will. Everything he owned. The house, land, savings, stocks, retirement, was listed under my name. I swallowed hard. "Uncle, I can't accept this." "You're not accepting anything," he said. "I'm simply giving what I have to my daughter." That word broke me. Daughter. News travels fast, especially when greed has long ears. 3 weeks later, Ethan called me. The first call after he kicked me out and blocked me. "Claire, hey. I heard you're living with Uncle Henry." His voice suddenly sweet. Sweetness always tastes rotten when it comes too late. "Yes," I said coldly. "I am." He cleared his throat. "Look. We should talk. There are things we need to sort out. Family stuff." Family. The same word he forgot when he sold our parents' house. Lena called next. "Claire, honey. We should all meet for dinner. Let's fix things. We're still family." She never called me honey. She never wanted to fix anything. People only chase what they think they can still take. I replied, "I'm not interested." Her voice changed instantly. "Fine. But you need to return the money Ethan spent on the house repairs. We deserve that at least." I laughed silently. Repairs he pushed him to do. Repairs I never asked for. Uncle Henry overheard everything. He took the phone gently from my hand and said, "Ethan, listen carefully. If you or your wife contact Claire again with greed in your hearts, I will take legal action. She is under my protection now." Ethan tried to speak. "Uncle, you don't understand." "I understand perfectly," Henry interrupted. "You already took what wasn't yours." And he ended the call. I started helping Uncle Henry around the house. Cooking. Cleaning. Organizing old files and photo albums. Sometimes he shared stories about my father. Stories I had never heard. One evening he said, "You remind me of your mother. Strong, stubborn, selfless." Something tightened in my chest. It felt good to be seen. A month later, I heard from a friend. Ethan and Lena were struggling. The money from the house was almost gone. They had invested in a business Lena wanted. And it was failing. I didn't feel happy. Didn't feel revengeful. I felt nothing. Sometimes betrayal burns so deep that even justice feels numb. Ethan showed up at Uncle Henry's house one morning. I opened the door. He looked thinner, stressed, and desperate. "Claire, please. I need to talk." I didn't move. He stepped forward. "That house money is gone. We made some mistakes. But we're family. You have to help." I shook my head. "I don't have to do anything." He swallowed hard. "Claire. I messed up. I shouldn't have sold the house without telling you." It wasn't an apology. It was a request for money. Uncle Henry came to the door. "Ethan, go home," he said firmly. "But Uncle, Claire gave you her childhood, her time, her money, her life, and you paid her back by making her homeless." Ethan lowered his head. Uncle Henry continued. "You didn't just betray your sister. You betrayed your parents' memory." Ethan stepped back, voice breaking. I didn't think." "That's the problem," Henry said. "You never thought about anyone but yourself." And he shut the door. Ethan didn't knock again. After Ethan left, the house felt quiet again. But it wasn't the painful silence of loss. It was the peaceful silence of justice. Uncle Henry placed a warm hand on my back. "You don't owe him anything, Claire. Not anymore." For the first time, I let myself believe that. 2 days later, I found an envelope under the front door. My name written on it. Inside was a letter. From Ethan. It wasn't long. Wasn't emotional. Wasn't sincere. Just a single line. "I hope you remember that the house was half mine." No apology. No guilt. Only ownership. I tore the letter in half. Healing doesn't arrive like a sunrise. It comes in pieces. Some days strong. Some days shattered. I would walk past Uncle Henry's guest room and see the old family photos he placed there. Sometimes I smiled. Sometimes I cried. One night I whispered into the darkness. "Mom, Dad, would you still be proud of me?" And for the first time, the answer felt like yes. One morning, I found Uncle Henry sitting on the kitchen floor, breathing heavily. "Uncle, what's wrong?" He held his chest, struggling. "It's just age. Help me up." That day, I realized he wasn't just saving me. He needed me too. The world becomes softer when someone depends on you. Slowly, our roles shifted. I drove him to medical checkups. Made his meals. Helped with documents. Stayed awake on nights when his blood pressure spiked. He never complained. One evening he said quietly, "Maybe God took your parents early, so I could have a daughter." Tears filled my eyes instantly. A friend from town texted me. "Claire, Ethan and Lena are fighting a lot. She's blaming him for everything. The business had collapsed. Debts were piling up. Lena wanted a bigger apartment. Ethan couldn't provide. And for men like him, ego cracks before the heart does." One afternoon, when I stepped outside to water plants, Lena was standing at the gate. Dressed well. Perfect hair. Cold eyes. "Claire, can we talk?" I didn't open the gate. "What do you want, Lena?" She smirked. "You know. Ethan owes a lot of money. If you help him, he'll finally come around." He'll apologize. We can all be family again. I almost laughed. You mean if I pay his debts? Her silence was the answer. I turned around and went inside. She screamed behind me. Claire! Don't be selfish. Selfish. Me. The woman who raised her husband. When I walked back inside, Uncle Henry was standing by the window. He had heard the entire conversation. He shook his head slowly. Greed never ends, Claire. You give them one piece. They'll take the whole world. I nodded. I'm done giving, Uncle. He smiled proudly. Three days later, Ethan showed up again. But this time, he wasn't alone. Two men stood behind him. Debt collectors. Claire, please, just open the door, he begged. No. His eyes filled with panic. They're going to take everything. My car, my accounts, everything. Just loan me something. Anything. I stayed silent. One of the collectors spoke coldly. Sir, step aside. We have to proceed. They dragged him back to the car. Lena didn't come. She didn't even call. Greed may unite people. But hardship exposes everything. That night, Uncle Henry knocked on my door. Claire, sit down. I want to tell you something important. He handed me a new folder. My lawyer updated the documents. Everything I own will go to you. And if anything happens to me, you will not give a single dollar to Ethan or Lena. Promise me. My voice broke. Uncle, why are you saying this? He smiled, tired but peaceful. Because I want you to have the life your parents dreamed of. I held his hands and nodded. I promise. A week later, Ethan called me again. He sounded different this time. No anger. No pride. Just a broken voice. Claire. I lost my job. Silence. Lena left. A longer silence. And then. I have nowhere to go. I closed my eyes. The same words I once said to him. Where will I go? This is the only home I have. He had no idea how those words tasted until now. Ethan arrived outside Uncle Henry's house. He sat on the porch steps, head in his hands. I watched through the window. He didn't cry. Didn't apologize. He just sat there. Shattered by the consequences of his own choices. I opened the door but didn't invite him in. What do you want, Ethan? He looked up with empty eyes. I don't know. I don't know anymore. He expected sympathy. Expected comfort. Expected the same old sister. But I wasn't her anymore. I said calmly. Ethan, I raised you like a mother. I gave you everything. And you sold the only thing left of our parents. Without even looking me in the eyes. He swallowed hard. I know, he whispered. It was stupid. I lost everything. I nodded slowly. Yes. And maybe this is how you learn. His face twisted in shame. Uncle Henry stepped outside with me. He looked straight at Ethan. Son, life punishes you when you betray the hands that fed you. Claire owes you nothing now. Ethan's voice cracked. Uncle, can I at least come inside for a meal? Henry shook his head. No. Not until you apologized to your sister like a man. Ethan looked at me. But he said nothing. Not one sorry. Not one sign of remorse. He stood and walked away. As he left, a strange calm washed over me. For the first time, I realized healing isn't about forgiving people. It's about closing the door. And knowing you're not the one who should feel guilty anymore. I finally saw my brother for who he truly was. Not the boy I raised, but the man he chose to become. And I wasn't responsible for him anymore. Days passed after Ethan walked away. He didn't call. Didn't text. Didn't try again. And for the first time in my life, his absence didn't hurt. Uncle Henry and I settled into a peaceful rhythm. Morning tea, soft music, small walks, and quiet evenings. It felt like life was finally stable. But peace is the most fragile thing in the world. One afternoon, while I was making soup, I heard a loud crash from the living room. "Uncle!" I shouted and ran. He was on the floor, gasping, clutching his chest with trembling fingers. His face pale. Eyes wide. Breathing heavy. I dialed 911 with shaking hands. "Please, please hurry. My uncle is collapsing, he has heart issues, please." Those minutes before the ambulance arrived felt like an entire lifetime. The cold walls of the emergency room swallowed me. Machines beeped. Nurses rushed past. Doctors whispered terms I didn't understand. Finally, a doctor came out. "He's stable, but it was close. Stress, age, and high blood pressure. He'll need monitoring." I broke down right there in the hallway. Not because I was weak, but because he was the only person who had chosen me, without wanting anything in return. Late that evening, while I sat beside Uncle Henry's bed, someone knocked on the door. I turned. It was Ethan. Hair messy. Clothes wrinkled. Eyes red. "Claire." I heard about Uncle. I stiffened. He stepped inside quietly. When I lost everything, Uncle Henry was the only person who ever cared about me after Mom and Dad. I needed to see him. His voice was soft. Too soft, almost fragile. For a moment, I didn't know if it was real or another manipulation. We stepped outside the room to talk. "Claire." "I know you hate me," Ethan whispered. "I don't hate you," I said. "I just don't trust you." He lowered his head. "I deserve that." For once. He wasn't defensive. He wasn't arrogant. He wasn't blaming anyone. He looked like the 14-year-old boy who lost his parents and clung to me at the funeral. It hurt, but I didn't let it break me. Ethan's voice trembled. "Claire, I'm sorry. For the house. For hurting you. For choosing Lena's greed over everything you've ever done for me." This time, I didn't feel anger. I felt exhaustion. I replied softly. "Ethan, you didn't just sell a house. You sold our parents' memory. And you threw me out like I meant nothing." His eyes filled with tears. "I know. And I hate myself for it." Part of me wanted to hug him. Another part wanted to walk away forever. Healing is complicated. A soft voice broke the tension. "Claire?" We rushed inside. Uncle Henry was awake, weak but smiling. Both of you, he whispered. Come here. Ethan stood beside me, shaking. Uncle Henry took both our hands. I don't know how long I have. But listen to me carefully. Silence. Family doesn't break when life gets hard. It breaks when hearts become selfish. Ethan looked down in shame. And if you want forgiveness, he added, turning to Ethan, you must prove you deserve it. That night, as Uncle Henry slept, I sat in the visitor's lounge with Ethan. He sighed deeply. Claire, I lost everything because I was stupid. But when I saw Uncle Henry lying there, I realized I might lose the last person who ever loved us. I didn't respond. Do you think he'll forgive me? He asked quietly. That depends, I said. Forgiveness isn't a gift. It's earned. He wiped his face and nodded. For the first time, Ethan wanted to change. The next morning, Uncle Henry's lawyer came to the hospital. A precaution. He reviewed the updated will with me. All property, investments, everything under my name. Ethan overheard. His face didn't show anger. Just heartbreak. Claire, he left everything to you? Yes. He nodded slowly. I understand. Those 2 words told me everything. He finally accepted consequences. Over the next week, while Uncle Henry recovered, Ethan did something I never saw him do. He showed up every day. Brought food. Paid for medicines he couldn't afford. Cleaned Uncle Henry's backyard. Fixed the pipes. Did chores without being asked. He wasn't trying to impress me. For the first time, he was trying to be a good man. One evening, I walked outside and found Ethan repairing the old wooden fence. Sweat on his forehead. Hands dirty. But he kept working. Why are you doing this? I asked. He paused. Because I never did anything for the people who loved me. Maybe it's time I try. Slowly, I felt the ice inside me melt. A little. When Uncle Henry finally returned home, he called both of us to his study. I'm an old man, he laughed softly. I don't know how much time is left. But before I go, I want peace in this family. Ethan's eyes filled with tears. I will earn it, Uncle. I promise. Henry nodded. Then he turned to me. And you, Claire. You must let people change if they truly want to. I swallowed hard. Forgiveness isn't weakness. Sometimes, it's strength. With Uncle Henry's recommendation, Ethan found a job at a local hardware store. Modest pay. Long hours. Hard physical labor. But he didn't complain. Every evening, he came home tired. Yet still offered to help around the house. He was rebuilding himself. Brick by brick. One afternoon, I opened the door and froze. Lena was standing there. Perfect hair. Expensive purse. Fake smile. Claire. I heard Ethan is doing better. Can we talk? I didn't even let her finish. No. She blinked. I just want to fix things, you know? For Ethan. For us. I folded my arms. He doesn't want you back. Her smile cracked. For once, she didn't have power here. Not anymore. I shut the door gently in her face. That night, Ethan stood silently by the window. I saw Lena outside, he whispered. I told her to go, I said. He nodded, eyes emotional. I don't want her back. She never loved us. She loved the money. Then he turned to me. Claire. I'm trying. I don't know if I can ever undo the past. But I want to be the brother you raised me to be. For the first time in years. I believed him. And maybe, just maybe, this family wasn't broken forever. One evening, I cooked Uncle Henry's favorite meal. Chicken pot pie with herbs. As I set the plates, Ethan hesitated at the doorway. Can I join you both? He asked softly. Uncle Henry smiled. Of course. Family eats together. Ethan sat beside me. Awkward at first. Silent. Careful. But when Uncle Henry cracked a joke about aging, Ethan laughed. The same laugh he had when he was 14. For a moment, it felt like the old days. Back when we still trusted each other. After dinner, I brought out an old wooden box. Inside were photographs from our childhood. Mom smiling in the garden. Dad holding Ethan on his shoulders. Me blowing out candles on my 12th birthday. Ethan picked up a picture of Mom. His eyes filled instantly. She loved this house, he whispered. Everything I sold, she built with her own hands. He broke down. For the first time, I saw real regret. Not forced. Not fake. Not selfish. Just pain. And it softened something inside me. Later that night, Ethan and I sat on the porch. The cool wind brushed past us. Ethan spoke quietly. Claire. I didn't sell the house only because Lena pushed me. I sold it because I wanted to move on. Because every time I saw it, I remembered Mom and Dad's death. And I didn't know how to handle it. I looked at him, stunned. He continued. I wasn't strong like you. You stayed. You protected the place. I ran. For the first time, I understood part of his cruelty. Grief makes people do unforgivable things. I didn't say, it's okay. Because it wasn't. But I said something honest. Ethan, thank you for telling me the truth. He nodded, tears in his eyes. I know sorry isn't enough, he said. But I'll spend the rest of my life trying to make it right. And for the first time, I believed him. As days passed, Uncle Henry grew weaker. Not dangerously weak. Just tired. Slower. Thinner. One morning, the doctor told me, Claire, he needs less stress and more support. His heart is delicate. I promised I would take care of him. But deep inside, I knew time was slipping away. Whenever Uncle Henry needed something, medicine, blankets, groceries, help to walk, Ethan was there. No hesitation. No complaints. No excuses. One night, I walked into the living room and found Ethan massaging Uncle Henry's shoulders gently. I used to do this for Dad, Ethan said with a soft smile. It broke me. Because I realized Ethan wasn't pretending. He was truly trying to be a good man again. At 2 a.m. one night, Uncle Henry started coughing heavily. Ethan rushed into the room before I even woke up. Claire, call the doctor, he yelled, supporting Henry carefully. After the emergency passed, the doctor pulled me aside. Ethan probably saved his life tonight, he said. I stared at my brother, sweating, scared, exhausted, but refusing to leave Uncle Henry's side. This was not the same man who sold our home. This was someone new. Someone growing.